Hey everyone, welcome back. I just sat through a tense Senate Judiciary hearing on solitary confinement in federal prisons. What unfolded exposed confusion, conflicting values, and no real consensus. Stick with me. I'll break down what happened and why it matters. It all started when a senator walked in, late, but ready to stir the pot. He asked, if we abolish solitary confinement in federal prisons, what exceptions should be included?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I was late. I was in another committee. I want to ask each of you this question, and if you would, be mindful of the fact that I only have 5 minutes, so if you could each maybe give me a 1-minute answer. If a bill were before, and I want to talk about prisons, federal prisons in general. If a bill were before the Senate to abolish solitary confinement in federal prisons, what exceptions, if any, would you recommend that we include in that bill? Can we start down here?
Senator GAO would not make any recommendations until we've had an opportunity to review the bill.
But the panel dodged the question, vague answers, no specifics. Even the senator seemed baffled by the lack of straight answers.
Senator, your question builds off of what Chair Durbin had actually said earlier about who might need solitary confinement. I think for me as a health professional, what I find problematic is the current definition and use of solitary confinement of 22 hours a day.
Doctor, I appreciate that, but
I don't think that there are...
Can you answer my question?
Yes. Yes, sir. I don't think that there are uses of solitary confinement in its current iteration of 22 hours a day for anyone.
Okay.
I think that certain people need to be separated.
Thank you for being straightforward.
Yes, you're welcome.
I appreciate finally getting an answer.
The senator pressed harder, rephrasing his question. Are there any real-world situations where solitary confinement is appropriate? A health professional said no, not in its current form.
Are there any circumstances where you think solitary confinement is appropriate or necessary?
Senator, I just think that with lived experience, I think that no human being should be placed in solitary confinement.
Okay.
And Senator, as you know, GAO, these are policy decisions, and we evaluate any program with policies or practices, but we don't opine on policy decisions. So if it's something that you all put forward as policy, we're happy to review it.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I went over. Thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you for attending the hearing, Senator, and your questions.
That was the first real answer of the day. But then Sheriff Wright spoke, and everything changed. Sheriff Wright listed situations where Texas uses what they call separation cells: attempted escape, possessing a weapon, attacking guards, or destroying equipment. But here's the twist. In Texas, it's not called solitary confinement. Inmates in separation cells still get phone calls, mail, and access to light. So is that really solitary confinement? That's where definitions blur, and words matter. At the hearing, the senator asked if solitary confinement was ever necessary.
It's Sheriff, right?
Yes, sir.
Sheriff, are there any circumstances in your experience when solitary confinement is appropriate?
Yes, sir. I'll give you a list of some of the ones that are listed in the Texas Jail Commission. Interfering with a head count, in which we are required to do twice a day. Attempted escape.
So if someone interferes with a head count, that they should be in solitary confinement? They should
Yes,
be?
yes,
Okay.
that's something that
What
they
else? I
can.
interrupted you. I just want to be sure I understand. What else?
Yes. So attempted escape, possession of weapon, attacking jailers or inmates, destroying security equipment within the facility. Those are all ones that are listed in the code for the state of Texas.
Okay. Are there any other?
Sometimes we use separation cells in order to separate gang members during times of unrest. Sometimes we utilize separation cells when somebody comes in initially in order to prevent them from talking with or intimidating other
What do you mean by
witnesses.
separation cells?
It's a single person cell. So we will put them in a single-person cell so that they cannot intimidate any of the co-conspirators in a case. And I'll give you a good example, being down on the border. Sometimes we'll
Can I
arrest.
ask you this?
One panelist gave an emotional no. The other, from the GAO, said they don't give policy opinions. You could feel the senator's frustration as his time ran out, with most answers vague or deflective.
Sorry to interrupt,
No,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
run out of time. I apologize, Sheriff. If a person's put in a separation cell, is that considered solitary confinement?
There is no such term in the state of Texas. It's separation cell, sir. So I guess based off of the definition that's been used here, I guess you would call it that. But we call it separation cell under our
Well,
law.
if the prisoner's put in a separation cell, does he have any contact during the day with other prisoners?
Yeah, they'll have vocal contact, yes, sir.
They'll have what?
They'll have vocal contact. In a jail setting, you're not going to have somebody that's isolated by sound. They also have access to publications. They also get access to phone calls, any of the correspondence that comes via the mail. They get exposure to sunlight, and they also get exercise every day.
Can I ask the other two witnesses the same question? Ladies?
Why does this matter? Federal policy affects real people, some held in small cells for 22 hours a day for weeks or months. There's no agreement, even among experts, on when or if solitary confinement should be used. Some call it essential, others say it's torture. This hearing wasn't just about solitary confinement. It's about how justice is defined in America: safety, rehabilitation, human dignity. Should solitary confinement ever be allowed? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious.
Doctor?
Senator, I am here to talk about the health effects more so than the exceptions, but I would say that I would recommend looking to the alternatives to solitary confinement that already exist in multiple cities and states, and potentially understand what exceptions they use to help inform your policy changes.
I must have asked a dumb question because I didn't get any answers. Let me try it another way. Are there any instances in the real world that we live in that, in your judgment, solitary confinement is appropriate? Doctor, we'll start with you this time.